Hello and welcome to Spill the Tea, a podcast by Penang Institute where we get into the minds of individuals who break stereotypes. I'm Fazil Irwan Som, and today we speak to Mr Mohan Anandani, the owner of Kashmir Restaurant, an F&B institution of 40 years in Penang. Mr Mohan, glad to have you here on the show.
Thank you.
Well, I guess first I would like to really understand, just to get some background history of how Kashmir Restaurant came about, and how did you end up having this idea of having a restaurant?
Oh my God, this is a joke. When I say the story to you, you won't believe it. In 1984, there was a restaurant for rent at the Oriental Hotel basement.
1984. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a long time ago.
I saw the restaurant. There were 4 restaurants that opened there and closed. 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. So when I took over, without even a cook, without even staff, I took over. People were really starting to bet that he will last another 6 months, And then I said, oh yeah, okay. So thank God that I got a right cook at that time. I took the restaurant without cook and without any working staff. Just took it up straight. I don't know why, but that's my passion. So I started asking for cook from Singapore, from India. Mm-hmm. So I got I got a cook from India.
Right.
And he started on the 17th of November 1984.
Right.
So we started from there. The day we started, it was busy. We had music, we had this, and we had cultural music like sitar, tabla, and things which nobody has. So,
has it always been the same venue where it is now, or was it a different venue before?
No, the same venue, same place. Okay. Only thing I've extended upstairs. Upstairs. So because upstairs where people can see and go in, if there's a crowd inside the restaurant, they will come in. Crowd. Mm-hmm. So that's what it is. That's how I started.
Okay.
The restaurant, so and I don't know zero about restaurant. Zero.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you don't know anything about restaurant, but suddenly you woke up one day, and you decided this is a good thing.
Yeah. So I pulled my way through. I got a supervisor. I asked him to set the plate, and then he set it up. And I said, "Is it true? This is the right way?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Yeah, you're right. I have to just do my acting." So that's where I learned.
Okay. So you learn along the way.
Along the way from other people. Right, of my staff.
But before that, has it been a tradition in your family that you serve food, or food is a means of getting people together? I mean, there must be a reason why suddenly you thought about food. It can be anything else, right? Like selling textile.
No, my father and we were never in the restaurant line. Never. My father was in the textile line, and I was doing trading, and also I used to sell suits to the customers. That's the 1978 or 79 in Batufingi. So I started from there, and then suddenly I was doing trading in town, and then there was an advertisement in the paper that there was a restaurant for rent, and then I said, I just want to see how it goes. So I went into the restaurant, look at it. I fall in love without knowing anything. You don't know how to cook also. Only I have a good tongue that tastes good. I can taste the food very good.
Passion over logic.
Yeah.
I like that. Which means to say you just went, you have no experience. You just went to the restaurant business and just thought that you can do it. So that, I think, is admirable for a lot of businesses. That's really admirable. But what were you doing before this? What was your business before having a restaurant?
When I was young, 17 years old, I worked
17
years old, yeah.
Wow.
17. When I was 17 to 18 years old, I used to work in Singapore in a tourist shop that sells radio, this and that. Then one day I met this guy. He said, "Would you like to make some suits for my friends in Australia? You can fly over." I said, "Fly to Australia?" So I was thinking, why not? I'm young. Let's see what happens. If anything goes wrong, I can still come up again because I'm young, right?
Yeah.
So I took the chance, and I flew to Perth. And then I went to a desert which is called Parabadu. It belongs to Hemisphere Iron. Hemisphere Iron, they call it.
Okay.
And it's like a camp. There's no shop. It's like an army camp where they serve the food. You got to line up, and maybe a barber shop, a stationery shop, and all that, right? So when I was when he asked me to come, oh my God, my heart from here went down. In the desert, how can I sell suits in the desert? It's impossible.
40 degrees,
Yeah,
44 degrees.
40, you put an egg on the bonnet, it'll boil.
Oh my goodness.
So this is what happened, and then my friend told me I was really very, very sad. I didn't sleep for 4 nights because nothing. After the 5th night, he knocked my door and he said, hey Mohan, Johnny, come I show you. So there were 20 people to line up to make suits. So I was so busy, I also called my brother to come over in Perth. Or Port. And it was so hot for it. And many people, I tell them that I was the first man to sell suits in the desert. They think I was crazy. I also thought I was crazy. But then
you wore suits in the plane, I guess.
Yeah.
The place.
When I was first time traveling, I wore a 3-piece suit.
You didn't know that the place was
no,
very hot.
I didn't know the place was desert. And even the air stewardess came and asked me, hey sir, do you know where you're going? I said, yeah, I'm going to Prabhu with a smile. She smiled and just walked away. And then when the plane arrived, wow, on the side I could see kangaroos jumping in the desert. I said, oh my God, no wonder. She said, that when the plane door opened, I walk out, wow, the air of hotness. I took off my suit. I said, no wonder she asked me, sir, where you're going. So I told many people, I sold suits in the desert.
Wow.
They think I'm crazy. And then if I don't tell them why, I leave it for 2 days, they'll go back and sleep at night and thinking. And then they'll call me, hey Mohan, how do you sell suits in the desert? Who want to wear it? I said, my dear, or my friend, the people who work there don't come from the desert. They come from Sydney, Melbourne, all. And when they work in the desert, they get much more higher pay. And when they go back, they want to look nice. They want to wear a suit. They want to make tailor-made suit, watches. And that time, Seiko watches were very famous. And also, I met a doctor who was a flying doctor. So he goes to small places, desert like Tom Price, here, this, traveling around. So one day I made him a suit on the house. So I said, doctor, can you do me a favor? He said, what? Can you be a flying tailor? Flying doctor, the flying doctor, and I can be the flying tailor. So wherever you stop, because that time the doctors have very big respect. He's got his own plane. He flies that to one place to another, and I sat next to him. So when he arrived to that place, all the people were sick and all, hey, this is Johnny. You make good suits. And look at me. So look at my idea. He makes suits. So everybody started making suits for me.
Interesting.
They work their money is so, they work in the desert, their money is so high.
Right.
And
so they have purchasing power.
Yeah.
Good purchasing power.
And that's why I say, if there's a will, there's a way.
There's a way. And
So-
a bit of and a lot
a bit
more
of
courage.
guts, yeah.
A lot of guts.
Yeah,
I think entrepreneurship is all about that.
Yeah,
You
right.
need to have that guts
That's
to do
right.
it, right? So where have you done? Where have you set up your your suit business? Anywhere else that you have?
Yeah, after that I came back to Penang. I was the first one to open a suit tailor business in Batu Ferringhi. That time there was Rasa Sayang only, hotel, and I was the first one. Today, wow, it's like a night market. It's gone up, but I'm out of it.
But you also did in Langkawi. Isn't it?
Yeah, I opened in Langkawi.
That was before Fringi or after?
After Penang, I opened a tailor shop in Langkawi.
In Langkawi, okay.
Yes, and also we did very good because a lot of tourists that time and this and that. And I opened, and some of my friends who were working for me before, now they have their own tailor shop, they are their own bosses.
Amazing.
So I'm out of it now.
Amazing.
So I hope this restaurant will do well for me. So far, so good. I hope next year will be better.
Yes, let's hope. Let's hope
Yeah.
that's
And
the
I'm
case.
moving to a new place in Upper Penang Road.
Yes.
Yes. And the best is I'm the only one in the world sell the best tandoori chicken in the world again. Am I right?
still is. Okay. I mean, normally, we're talking about restaurants. Typically restaurants don't last that long unless there is something there, some secret of success, some magic that you put in the food or the business. We just want to understand what it is. So perhaps if you can let us know, because as you said, Kashmir has been standing for more than 40 years, I would guess. And perhaps you can share with us what is your secret of success.
I can do that. Well, as I said to you, I found the place downstairs, and I went in and have a look. I fall in love with the restaurant. Then and some of my friends says that there's not a good place to open because there was 4 restaurants. They last for 6 months. So I said, oh man, I take a chance. As I said, I don't have any cook. So when I got the restaurant, paid my deposit, all, I said, oh my God, how am I going to start the restaurant? So I called my friends from India and all that. I help out. And then one guy helped me out by sending a cook to Penang, and then I had to apply for visa and this and that. So at last he came, and the reason why I was successful is because the main thing is the cook, the food. It's not the place. If
It's
the food
always
is
the
good,
cook.
if the service is good, people will go anywhere to look for it.
Right. You don't have to advertise too much. They will
And
come
so,
for it, basically.
I'll tell you about advertisement too. There are many people come to me and say, "Can I advertise your restaurant?" Or said, I always joke with them. Yeah, you can. Yes, I've been here for 40 years. If you want to put my name into the book, please pay me. I must not pay you, because I have run for 40 years to make a name.
Right.
So I don't need any advertisement. I prefer to give good food. Let people talk about it.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it goes without saying that food. I mean, the quality of the food is what makes people come back. Customers, they will come back to a place because of the food. But so we will talk about that in a bit. But I would also like to talk about what you said just now, because you said it's also about the service.
Yes.
And I think this is very, very important to also highlight, because obviously if the food is good but the service is not great, then people would also be, feel offended, for example. They feel that they are neglected in the restaurant. So perhaps you can talk about that. What is it in your relationship with your customers that makes them come back?
Well, I always put myself as a customer to a restaurant. And I find if the service is good, the food is good, I will surely come back. But if the food is good and the service is bad, I think, because it takes two hands to clap. So this is what the restaurant needs. And I've been there for the food, yes, is the most important thing. My tandoori chicken and my food is, especially my tandoori chicken and mutton rib, is one of the best in the world.
I can vouch for that.
And then people talk about it. 40 years, I don't advertise, as I say, from America, from US, everybody know me. Everybody has been around the world. I asked them, is there any restaurant, Indian restaurant that beats me? They said, no, my God, nobody can beat you, Mohan. They said, I've been around the world for Indian restaurant, but cannot beat Kashmir Penang.
Are you saying that the chef from 1984 is the same chef now? No.
No.
We've changed it.
No, the chef is not the same. The other chef was working for me for 12 years, and then he was an assistant cook with him. Okay. So he taught him how to live and all. And then the day he passed away, so the other guy took over. So I always have people from India background where they work for me under permit. Okay. So he took over, and then he followed the same style.
Okay. So there is some sort of a common recipe book or something that you have.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And also, I would also insist, as long as the food is good, service is good, you will sure get the business.
You go far.
Yeah. You ask anybody, even you ask me if I go to another restaurant to eat, I say, is the food good? So if the atmosphere is good, people are there. But when I eat one time, I say, oh my God, I'm not going to come back to this restaurant again.
Right.
Because the food must taste good. That everybody in the world know that.
Right.
And as I said, I have all the customers all over the world. I've been asking them, do you have any restaurant that beats my restaurant? And sometimes I joke, you please tell me where it is. If I go, it's better than me, I will give you 1 month free food. Just a joke. So they said, no, Mohan, you're the best.
Okay. But you, since 1984, you have gone through some really challenging times, because we have periods in that history since 1984 that has been very, very tough. We have the financial crisis, we have 2 financial crises, and the COVID-19 pandemic. Maybe you can take us through how you experienced those hard times, and how do you actually overcome those times?
Actually, when it was 1987, and there was 1997,
1987, the crisis,
the crisis, 1977. But I was very lucky that my customers are mostly corporate people from all the factories and all that. So they used to do export. So I have never seen recession in my life except this year.
Oh,
this year is the worst. Recession. I mean, COVID time, you can't help it because it was COVID, and the government has to close the restaurant, or you got to wait till health and all that. So we closed for nearly maybe 2 years, I think.
2
No,
years.
I think 1 year.
One year plus.
1 year, 2
Okay.
plus. But if it was gone, if it's been another 6 months extra, I think I will close my shop and not do business anymore.
Wow.
Because if you have certain kind of money, you leave, and then if it's going to be finished, you better look after yourself.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, I went through that hard time, and then after COVID, the business was good again, and now this year is the worst year of my life. I've never seen 40 years business like this year.
Do you think that would be an indication of things happening globally or just a Malaysian thing?
I think it's global Malaysian way because the money has come down. You know, people are tight, and then people don't want to spend so much money. But I'm also very lucky that the corporate people still come and enjoy my food in the restaurant. You know, that's what it is. My father always say that business will be. You can be old, but business is always young.
Right. And I think you mentioned a very, very important point because your main customer base are the corporate customers. And I think that has been the reason why you have been shielded by all these crises that has happened before. Because whether it's financial crisis and everything, corporate customers, the CEOs, all this, they still come to your...
They have to, yes. They still have to business have to still go on.
Yes.
They have to go on, and then there were factories opening up in Penang more and more and more.
Right.
Sometimes I even can't take the reservation those days.
Right.
I have reservations, they'll call and ask for 10 people, 20 people. So this is where I never seen recession until this year. This year is my worst.
Worst after 40 years?
Yes.
Oh, that's a bad indication. Let's talk about that because I think this is a very important point for not only people in the F&B business to know, but also for the policymakers to see how they can help salvage this industry, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, so you said that this is the worst that has happened in 40 years. And I think this is something that policymakers need to really pay attention to because, as you said before I had this discussion with you, that the F&B industry contributes a huge amount of revenue for the government. So it is in their interest to actually help in this industry. So maybe let's talk about that. Let's talk about how, in that case, what do you think the government can do to help this industry?
Well, the government can do to help this industry is to let us have a work permit for the workers to work and the cook to a bit more easier. We are professional in Indian food, so if you want an Indian food, you have to try and get us one. Because we invest the money, government make the 6% atas angin.
That's 6%
per
and paid to customs in 2 months, right?
No, 6% every 2 months, which I pay about 18 to 15,000 every 2 months. It's about, since it's now been 40 years, I think I've already paid $35 million. Ringgit. And this is important to know. Government should know that where this restaurant comes up, you all must help. Yes, we would love to have local people working for us, but not the cook, local people. But the problem is when they work, they come 1 week, next week they don't come, this week then I will spoil my service. So this is what I am scared of. And this is where the government should step in and make things easier. Or in another way, find out if the tax, service tax, how much they pay every 2 months, 15,000, 18,000. Help them. You are making money from them. From the customers, the food is good, you pay 6%, the customers pay 6%, that goes to the government, to the customs. So you know how many restaurants in Malaysia, I think the government is making a lot of money of the 6%.
Yeah.
That's why they should help the restaurants to have a cook if they want to eat thing. You know, to prove that you are doing so good, why kill the business? If you kill me, you also kill yourself. You won't get enough money.
Yeah, true. I mean,
6%.
Just like what you said, in 40 years, you've paid around 35 million ringgit
Yes.
in tax revenue to the government
6%.
of a 6%.
Yeah.
Can you imagine those restaurants out there, bigger restaurants, they would contribute more and more.
Yes.
So this is huge money generator for the government, right?
This is what the government is not seeing it. They should pay attention to this because they will make a lot of money if the restaurant is good, people, the service is good, the food is good, they will make a lot of money. And I think the government should have all these restaurants to have every 3 months a dialogue to find out what is the reason, what we can improve and all that. But this doesn't happen.
So you're saying in your 40 years, you have not been part of any effort in trying to get government and industry players, F&B industry players together to talk about their problems and all this?
Yeah, I think the government should do that. Get every 3 months to have a dialogue with all the restaurants who have been old, the old timers. And this is where you make money. This is where I make a bit of money. The government makes 6%. You know how much money that 6% is for whole over Malaysia. You just ask whole over Malaysia, they earn a lot of money. And they don't bring it out because nobody knows about it. But this money is big money. Right. And this is where the government should step in, help the restaurants, see their background, see their accounts, how much service tax they are paying, SST. If they're paying well, why let them have what they want? If they don't have what they want, you kill their business, it's also killing your business. Yeah. And this is big money.
That's true. I think I would like to maybe perhaps understand a bit more from the side of the government, because I think maybe on the government side, they're also worried about protecting the local workforce, giving more opportunities to the local workforce. But I understand that most of these policymakers, they have not run a restaurant in their life. And they don't understand what actually is the problem. The real problem why this thing about local workers and foreign workers. And I think one of the main issues, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Mohan, is when it comes to local workers, because they are in the country, they have a lot of options. The tendency of them changing their jobs, going somewhere else is very high. So it's very hard to retain such a person. And in the restaurant industry, if you have a chef and they leave and open a new one, that is so destructive for the business. Is this the reason why you feel that the local workers are, the risk of having local workers? Would you say so?
Yes, the local workers, I will be very, very happy to keep local workers because I don't have to pay levy, a room, this,
visa, and all this.
No problem, visa. Yeah. I would love to have it. But when you apply, they come in to work 1 week, next week they don't see your face anymore. What can you do? Even after 5 months, they leave the job. They said, I'm leaving. That's it. That's it.
And you have encountered this many times?
Of course, many, many times. And that's why I said that the people who are foreigners who got visa and working, they work very hard. Even they're willing to work 12 hours, 10 hours. Of course, we don't treat staff like an animal, but we treat them with respect. I eat the same food, staff food and all that. It's all we look after them. And that's why I have staff that work for 10 years, 14 years, 8 years, 9 years. Why? Because they're foreigners, they come on visa, they only can work for you, not for somebody else.
Right.
And if you get a local person, he works for you, then somebody pay a little bit more, they leave. Then to get another worker again and to train again, it's so difficult, it's so stressful, I tell you. So the government must understand this, because they don't go on the ground.
Right.
Right? They don't go and see. They only sit at the table and do paperwork and just read. That's not good enough.
Right.
They should go to every restaurant or have a dialogue every 3 months and see how you all can help. Because when you help, you also make money. This is a very important industry.
Yeah.
In fact, my tandoori chicken is world famous. You go to US, you go to anybody in Penang to ask Kashmir Restaurant, they know. And also Penang serve very good food. Some of the restaurants, hawker stalls. Of course, the hawker stalls, you don't get any 6% SST.
Right.
But this is where the tourists come in. One day they go to hawker stall, next day they go to fine dining. Still the money comes back.
Right.
So I think the government should really, really, really look after the restaurants people, find out, have a dialogue.
Yeah, I think the government needs to really deep dive on this problem, because it is not a simple problem. As you said, at one side they want to protect local workers, but on the other side they need to understand that restaurants need to survive, and to survive, as you said, this whole thing about having foreign workers as chefs is so important, is because of the situation that they're in. They come in, they're only allowed to work under one employer.
Yes.
And all these restrictions is what makes them stay in a place for a long time, right? As opposed to local workers. So these are very, how do I say, perhaps these are very is a complicated issue, but that can only be solved when policymakers talk to the restaurant owners regularly, as you said.
Yes, regularly.
Every
And
3
also, we
months,
are doing tourist business at family. And I don't know why some students are so smart at paperwork and show me so much degree and this, but when come to communication, zero. English they can't speak.
Right.
And then they find, and then how can we employ people who don't understand English?
Right.
Because we are in the tourist industry,
Yeah.
and mostly all the restaurants are mostly in tourist industry. I'm not saying they don't understand. I mean, maybe they understand English, but they doesn't know how to converse.
I think it's more confidence.
Yeah.
Maybe, right? Yeah.
So this is where the English is very important, also as the Malay.
Right.
The Malay language is also very important,
Yeah.
and the English also is very important.
That's true.
Same like India. You go there, they speak Hindi, they speak English.
Yes.
And that's why the Indian people in India have 60% of the CEOs in America and most countries are Indians.
Right.
Because they can communicate in English and they also can speak in English, in Hindi. So if the government look at Malay and English, they should put English as compulsory, because this is where the industry will take workers in.
Right.
Another thing, if they don't speak the language, then it's a big problem for me, because I can't keep someone and pay and then ask him to speak English. He said, "Sir, I don't know how to speak English." So one day I had one customer. The customer asked for one beer. The girl thinks it's bill. So if she went to the cashier and asked for a bill. So this is where the communications get funny, you know.
Understand. Yeah, this is a very, in a way, ironic situation, because I remember talking to a lot of investors. The reason why a lot of investors, they prefer Malaysia compared to other countries in Southeast Asia is because we are English-speaking country. But I think on the surface that's the truth. But in terms of confidence, perhaps, in speaking the language, they might understand, but they don't know how to converse maybe, and respond properly. Perhaps this is why we need to look back into our English speaking system, basically, to improvise it better, right? I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, we understand that there's a lot the government needs to do in terms of in improving the industry. And as you said, this is a very, very hard time for the F&B business.
Yes.
I know a lot of business also, they are wrapping up,
Yep.
they're having a lot of trouble because of all this. So I think this is an important conversation that we should have with the government. I guess it also brings me to bring back to the human element of all this, because I think the fact I still want to bring back the reason why, because I don't think it's all about just the food. I really feel that it is also about the human interaction, the human relationship that you have with people, that makes people want to come back and be part of to visit your establishment. So with that, I just maybe want to ask about yourself, because I know you're a very generous person. You give a lot to people. You take care of your people. You take care of people around you. So perhaps you can share, and maybe this would shed a bit of your secret of success in those 40 years. What is your outlook in life? How do you value human relations in your life?
Well, human relation is a very important thing. It feels like, you talk to people, they talk to you back. It feels so nice and so great, so great. And I know how the feeling is. Then we work together, we look at each other. I would love to keep local people, really, honestly. If you can get me some local people who can work for, say, agreement for 2 years, even after agreement signed for 2 years or 1 year, they still break it, they still go. So what can you do? You go to a lawyer, you have to pay your own money, and then if he doesn't want to work, what can you do?
Right.
So there's no such thing as once the local leave or the government will help to bring back. No. They will leave on their own, because they said, if I get $600, why should I work for you for $500?
True.
Just for $100. So that's the problem. Where the foreign workers, they come to work, they stick to the pay, and they will stick to you because the permit is under your name.
Right.
If without them, I think I would have closed the restaurant long time ago. And if I closed the restaurant long time ago, you all also won't get SST, which I spent for 40 years paying $35 million. Just imagine me, I'm just small. What about many other big restaurants? They collect a lot of money. So try to help out and bring back the industry.
Right, I understand. So, okay, so I guess in terms of, I think it's very clear what the policy is, what the government should do. Is there any other advice or any other, nuggets of wisdom that you want to share with us today?
Advice is like, in what sense you mean?
In life, in general, in life.
Yeah.
Since you are an institution yourself in Penang, share with us. Share to the Penang society what we like and what we can do.
Well, the main thing the government can do is help out and help them with the work permit of cooks and all that faster, easier, so that they can work as a cook here. If you put a local cook, he works for 6 months and he leaves, then what happens to the restaurant? I spoil 10 of my staff. I spoil I pay my rental. It's just because the 2 cooks leave. Yes, I know you can ask for another cook to come. And then supposing you are a customer, if you are a customer, you come back again and say, hey, Mohan, what happened to your food? Then he just tell me, then he goes off. He will never come back again. And who lose? I lose, government also lose 6%.
Got it.
So this is a very big industry. Again, I say and say and say, please help out the restaurant people.
I understand.
And get into they should come and have a dialogue every 3 months. That should be very, very good. At least the understanding will be better.
Okay, got it. Any other advice would you like to give? You okay?
Yeah. I have an advice. Don't give in and don't give out, but never give up.
Okay.
That's my advice.
I hope that's yours, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. I heard that you're moving your restaurant. From the old place.
Old
for
tenant.
40 years. You're finally moving out. Where are you moving out?
I'm moving out to Upper Penang Road.
That would be in front of E&O, right?
Yes, E&O.
Okay.
I'm moving because the hotel owner, I see him not doing any renovation and all that for past 2 years.
Right.
So since I got a nice place, I better jump on it.
Yes.
After 6 months, 8 months, if he says, I want to sell the hotel, you leave, then I won't be getting the place. So I have to be one step ahead.
Understand. And I think it's a nice place also. The area is developing
nice place,
developing well. Okay, and the next question is, so when can we try this really delicious tandoori chicken of yours?
Now.
After this.
You can come this afternoon for lunch and try, really.
Okay, all right.
And also, I have some dignitaries from US, actors like Omar Sharif, Jane Simon, and some of the biggest actors, they have come to my restaurant.
Right.
And Peter Weller.
Okay.
And then also some dignitary from the Sultan of Kedah. When he was in Agong, his wife used to come have dinner in my place, and this and that. And even the governor enjoy my food because every time he hasn't been in my restaurant, but he's always packed food.
Some food in the restaurant.
So,
Okay.
So he has packed 4 or 5 times, so I know he likes the food.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I think that's kind of wraps up this great conversation that we have. Thank you so much for a great conversation with you as always, Mr. Mohan.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Mohan. I've been speaking to Mr. Mohan Anandani, owner of Kashmir Restaurant. This is Spill the Tea, a podcast by Penang Institute.